Aloha, everyone. Michelle Melendez here on the Big Island of Hawaii with blossominnerwellness.com and standtogetherhawaii.com. And I want to share what is planned for humanity and the actual power that we have. Because, I have lots of friends who are telling me, this is what's coming, Michelle, and there's nothing we can do about it. But I refuse to believe that because I believe that you wouldn't be here if the universe didn't need you. And we have more power than we understand. So I'm actually going to show you the science that's in your body and the actual power that you have. And I'll show you guys at the end. But let me first do a screen share. And this is not about fear. Absolutely not. This is about not putting your head in the sand and actually seeing what's coming for all of us, what's planned for each of us. But the power that we have is strong, you guys. It is strong. And I promise you, at the end, I'm going to show you guys inside the cells of your body that you actually have holographically the information of the entire universe inside the cells of your body and how to utilize that power. So let me just show you guys what is planned for humanity and understanding what's already here. And I forgot to do a share sound. So let me share my sound as well as optimize the video. There we go. Okay, so this is from the agenda, the vision of your future 2025 documentary, Oracle Films on YouTube. You can check it out, the whole video there. I'm just going to show you parts of it.
You are never alone in your home, and this is why. All your devices at home and all smart appliances, they are all connected on a wireless network. Many of these devices will have cameras, many will have microphones, and so they are monitoring everything all the time. Your smart appliances are communicating with the smart meter and sending it real-time usage data. If there's a Ring camera also in your home, a mesh network is formed and all your devices are being tracked within the home, its location, its usage, and all the data is going to Amazon servers. When you leave your home...
I just want to pause for a moment. This, again, like I said, this is not about fear, but it is about understanding that those gadgets, those appliances, they are tracking you. Your privacy is gone. It's all being brought to the servers. So do you really need those? I'm just saying, maybe you do. Maybe you want to have them. That's great. Everybody's got their own choice. But just know what's there and what's going down. And I'll share again.
All modern vehicles are connected to the internet, so your automobile is being tracked all the time. When you're going under a string of smart LED poles and smart LED lights on the highway and in the streets of your towns and cities, those form a wireless network and are tracking your vehicle. They are tracking all the devices on you, from smartphones to smartwatches when you're walking on the streets. So data is being collected 24/7 continuously on every human being whenever you are within these wireless networks.
And I want to share this too. What if, what would your life be like if you didn't have those devices, if you chose something else? Check it out. Maybe go a day or two without it and just see what that's like. Yeah, these are convenient, but there's convenience for a reason. This guy who's talking, he actually helped to create the surveillance surveillance technology in Silicon Valley, and he left when he realized what this was going to be used for. That's who's speaking. So he definitely knows what the heck is going down here.
And it's obviously not good for health also because of all the electromagnetic radiation.
In the long term, the plan is to pretty much lock up humanity in smart cities, which is kind of a superset of a 15-minute city.
They've sold all the state and local governments and countries that smart cities are about sustainability and the good of the city. But in reality, the language from the UN and WEF and their white papers is all inverted. So
I'm gonna let him finish this because this is what is in our general plans, you guys. I have a meeting with the mayor tomorrow to talk about the general plan. And I love this man. He's on our side with the general plan, and he's opening his eyes to see what really is going on. And each one of you, if you have not checked out your general plan, your county council, just put in your city's name or your town's name and go general plan. And then look at it, go through it a little bit. And the quickest way to do that is to download the PDF and then put in edit and go to find and put in things like clustered housing, put in things like stakeholders, put in things like electric vehicles. Here on the island, our general plan, I was just talking with a guy who cuts up wood. He's a wood chipper here on the islands or the Big Island. And I told him, I said, you know about the general plan? I said, they want just electric vehicles by, I think it's 2035, which means no diesel. He goes, I wouldn't be able to run my business. I said, no farmer would be able to farm. He goes, there's not an electric vehicle or electric car that's going to do the wood chipping that he needs to be done. So that is what is on our agenda, what's on the agenda for the Big Island General Plan. If you guys live on the Big Island, please join standtogetherhawaii.com, standtogetherhawaii.com. I will be putting out information on when the general plan is going to be meeting at the county council, which they just sent me an email and just said beginning of July. They didn't tell me a date. They just said beginning of July. So I'm kind of curious about when this meeting is happening. So let me keep going with this man. And there's a few other things I want to show you about this documentary that are pretty amazing. But this one is we all need to know about.
Monitoring is really about limiting mobility and no car ownership. Right? Surveillance, control via LED grid is why the smart lighting is there. Water management is about water rationing, noise pollution is about speed surveillance, traffic monitoring is about limiting mobility, and then, of course, energy conservation is all about rationing heat, electricity, and gasoline. Another concept one should be familiar with is called geofencing, and think of it as an invisible fence around you where you cannot go beyond a certain point, and that will be related to your face recognition, digital identity, and access control. Your smart contracts, SoftBrick can turn off your digital currency beyond a certain point from your house. Our world has been turned into a digital panopticon.
That means you can be monitored, analyzed, managed, and monetized.
Surveillance.
So this again is not about fear. This is about knowledge. It's about seeing what is planned for us. What if we can change the plan? We change the plan by each one of us speaking up. You know, I have people come up to me, oh, thank you, Michelle, for everything you do. And I'm like, well, are you sending the emails out to the city council? Oh, no, I need to get on your email list. Come on, people. It's not just one person. We can do this, but we got to do it together. Stand together. Hawaii.com. That's the reason why I had that website, standtogetherhawaii.com. And if you are in your area going, oh, I can't do anything, you're watching this for a reason. Again, the universe, you wouldn't be here if the universe didn't need you. It needs every single one of us to say no, to not comply, to stand up, and to get back into nature. Like, when was the last time you spent half a day off of the computer or off of your smartphone? I have to admit, I don't do that very often. I actually have a sport that I love that gets me off the computer. So that's good. But I want to go back and I want to share just a few more things, especially they're going to be talking about Rosa Coria, who I just love. This woman, Rosa Coria, she was, for 25 years, she was the branch chief manager, transportation manager of California. She found the Agenda 21 by accident because of a case that she was in. She was also a professional, not professional, but expert litigation in eminent domain. That's how come she found Agenda 21. When she found it, she started going to county councils around the nation to tell them what is planned for us and to try and stop it. And she passed away from cancer a few years ago. So let's see what she has to say, though. But this is because of the goals of the United Nations.
Surveillance capitalists are already making billions of dollars selling our information to big corporations. because this kind of detailed knowledge enables them to predict and influence our behavior. Worse, our children are being exploited.
There are a lot of board games and other games that are already in the market and have been for over 2 years that have cameras inside and underneath these LED screens that are observing and scoring and emotionally calibrating the faces of all the children. So are all the iPads that they use in schools. They're all manipulating children's behavior by what they display on the screens.
So I'm just gonna pause. I said Rosa Corey, and then that popped up. I want to check out my time limit. That is really important too about our children. So I can't imagine being a parent right now and having your child throw a temper tantrum because you took their iPad away is a very real thing, and it's because it's an emotional addiction, and the frequency of them with that phone or that iPad is actually conditioned pattern in every cell of their body, and they go through withdrawals if you take it away. So I'm just curious and asking the question, how can I love questions, because if you ask the right question, you're going to get an answer from the universe. You don't have to figure it out. You don't have to know all the answers, but you do have to ask the right question. So what if you asked a question like, how can I easily support my child learning and being in the world right now, so that it opens their heart more to kindness, love, and play? So how can I easily do this as a parent? That's a great question to ask. And you keep asking that question, an answer is going to show up, an answer is going to pop into your head. You're going to run into somebody. I'm going to explain this magic and how it works in a little bit, but I want to keep going with this video to show you guys a few more things. I think it is United Nations. Let me just check here. Oh, here it is. I think this is what I wanted to show. 2011.
Based on a simple principle: never trust, always verify.
Zero Trust is a protocol that is implemented by cybersecurity companies. And what it really means is we don't trust you, and you have to prove who you are all the time, 24/7. So think of it as going from a world of implicit allow to default deny. In tomorrow's world, once Zero Trust is implemented in, say, retail, everything will be behind plexiglass doors with a 3D camera, and it'll only be unlocked through your digital identity and facial recognition if you have the available carbon credits in your digital currency.
If you've reached the limit of your allowance, it could be access denied. This would apply to fuel, to travel, to meat and dairy products, to clothes and other consumer goods. Because everything in life could be valued by its carbon footprint.
And this is why they wanted to talk about carbon so much. Carbon footprint, like carbon is actually a bad thing. When I exhale carbon dioxide, these plants breathe it in and give me oxygen. How is that a bad thing? But they have demonized us carbon beings, demonized our breath. So many things. Let me just go, it's a few more things here. And I did say Rosa Corey. Let me see if I can find that one really quick for you, even though I have shared it before, which I love because she's pretty powerful. And maybe I won't show it on this one again, but I do want to go to 27, 22. And again, this one is about the United Nations Agenda 21, or United Nations goals.
Life of dignity for all.
It appears to be a noble and ambitious program for a perfect world. And who could argue with those aspirations? But critics insist the goals are not what they seem. Alex Newman is a journalist and broadcaster who's been investigating the issue for 15 years. He has his own way of interpreting the rhetoric.
You have to learn to speak what I call UNEs. You have to know what the terms mean if you want to truly understand what is being discussed. When they talk about peacekeeping forces or the peacekeeping role of the United Nations, they're actually talking about the war-making capabilities of the United Nations. So you have this Orwellian double speak. When they talk about transparency, more often than not, they're talking about eliminating your privacy. Human rights is another very, very good example. They make very clear in this document that your rights can be restricted under the guise of public order or morality or whatever the case may be. And so they're saying, here's your rights, but by the way, they're not really rights. We can revoke them at any time. The UN is filled with contradictions like this. Like, for example, when they talk about gender equality, right? A normal person in the Western world thinks gender equality means a woman has a right to earn money, to own property, to have all the rights and privileges that a man would have. When you look at the individuals who lead this movement within the UN, you're talking about radical feminists. You're talking about people who are very interested in dissolving the nuclear family. As you dig into these goals, it's very clear we're dealing with something far more nefarious. Once you look past the marketing slogans, the kind of warm and fuzzy, we're going to end hunger, which again is just window dressing, you realize that this is actually a blank check for totalitarian global control.
And that's the thing too, is like ending hunger. Who doesn't want to end hunger? But what does that mean? It could mean rationing food. It could mean that they are that they change farmers' ability to do like organic farming, because that maybe that's not sustainable. It also could mean that they have certain food that they make, like food made out of bugs, because that's more sustainable, you know, all kinds of different things like that. And there's one more thing I want to share, and then I am going to go into the power that we have, you guys, because this video is not about fear. This video is about seeing what the heck is planned for us, taking a stand and understanding the power we have. So that's really, really important. And let me go back to that. 29:44. I'm gonna stop share and pause the video for this. And I found the Rosa Corey part that I wanted to share. So let's watch her, because she's incredible.
Campaigner, the late Rosa Corey, called out the plan more than a decade ago.
It is the biggest public relations scam in the history of the world. But it's far more than that. It's a blueprint. It is the action plan to inventory and control all land, all water, all minerals, all plants, all animals, all construction, all information, all energy, all means of production, and all human beings in the world.
What can be...
And I don't, and again, stuff is like terrifying, okay? I'm just gonna say, when I looked at this, I was like, oh my gosh. But I also know that I'm a human, and I have a heart, and I love, and I'm compassionate, and I can forgive and be understanding. And that's not by accident. There's a reason why we're each here. So I just have one more thing I want to share, I believe, on this thing. And then I'm going to show you guys the power that's in every cell of your body. It is really amazing to see and to understand what you are. And this is 43:16.
We're fighting for really the right to own our own lives. We're fighting for that freedom versus a sort of corporate authoritarian structure or medical fascist structure, which is what is clearly trying to, interests are trying to impose on us.
Changes to the WHO's regulations are expected to be voted through in the coming months. As we speak, the UK government is fully behind them. Meanwhile, in common with many other global institutions, the WHO tries to silence criticism and dissent, branding it misinformation. The science, it says, is settled.
Let me just say, science is never settled, because it's science. and you keep going and you have experiments. I mean, Nassim here, who was it? Einstein, who tried to find the God particle and what connects all of us. He didn't find it. And so Nassim Harriman, he's actually found it. So now I'm going to go into the power of your human body and understanding what is inside every single cell you have, and why the media is constantly programming us for fear. Because when we stay in fear, in worry, in stress, we are not powerful. We comply, and so let me share my this guy right here. This is a presentation I did. Understanding the depth of your body. So you have 50 to 100 trillion cells in your body. And each cell, there are more than 100 trillion atoms. I just want you to focus on that for a second. This ball is one cell. And then inside your cells, there's 100 trillion atoms. So it's so much, it's hard to grasp. And then each atom, there's numerous protons depending on the element, the element. So what does that mean? Why is this important? Okay, I just want to show you guys the depth and the power that's inside of you. If you made one of your atoms and one atom, and again, 100 trillion atoms in one cell, but you just took one atom, you made it the size of the Vatican, your protons in that atom would be the size of a pin. It'd be so small. And it's hard for us to grasp that because we're in the third dimension and we have these borders. So I'm like looking at my arms going, okay, if I made one of my atoms in one of my cells the size of the dome of the Vatican, then the proton would be the size of a pin. That's like, oh, that's like really super dinky small. And then it goes even deeper than that. This is where the Planck scale comes in, and I'm going to explain what the Planck is so you understand the power that's inside of your body. Inside the protons, so again, one cell, we have 50 to 100 trillion cells. One cell has hundreds of trillions of atoms. In one atom, there's many protons. In each proton, there are what's called the Plancks. I'm going to show you what that looks like. If you grew one Planck, which is in one proton, which is in one atom, which is in one cell, to a fine grain of sand, the proton would stretch from our sun to Alpha Centauri, which is 4.367 light years from the Earth, and a little under 25 trillion miles from the sun. Okay, that's insane to think about. But there's a reason why I want to explain this to you. Because of this is what the Planck scale looks like in your protons, in your atoms, in your cells. It looks like the flower of life. There's 7 different circles that are wrapping around each other. And this is not just in your cells. This is in the empty space that's around you. This empty space is not empty. This is a frequency field of the Planck scale. And why is this important? This is why this is important. This is why this is important. So this is a proton circle. You see the Plancks. This is the Planck. It's super dinky winky small. Plancks are information vibrating as energy. This Planck always vibrates. It never stops until you die. It just doesn't stop. It's vibrating. And why is that important? Because that is a frequency. What are your emotions? They are frequencies. The number of Plancks in one proton is holographically equal to the entire mass, to the mass of the entire universe. This is from Nassim Harriman, physicist who found this. I'm going to say this again and then I'm going to explain it. The number of Plancks in one proton of your body, and you have a lot, is holographically equal to the mass of the entire universe. That is important. Let me see if there's another one that I wanted to do. Nope, that's the one I wanted to do. That is important because you have the power to create your life. You have the power inside of your body, and our minds keep us from understanding the true power that we have of manifestation and of creating a world of peace and harmony and love. Now, I've been told by some that this is a this is a couple people, including my friend Robert that I've met recently, that this is a simulation, and the powers that be are not going to let us, change the agenda. But I don't buy it, because why would I be here? Why would I have been guided to learn this information? When I was inspired to be a fitness instructor, I was inspired to research what happened in Maui. I was inspired to research why. Why? This is what happened. This is how I learned this information, because I wanted to know women who struggle with their weight. I wanted to know, why was it that some women struggled with their weight and some women didn't? And why was it that they could lose weight and they'd gain it back? What was that? What was that cycle? And it was because it was an emotional conditioned pattern in every cell of their body. And I found out that the cells are actually conscious and they vibrate. And when you have an emotion, that emotion is a frequency, it is a vibration, and it's in every cell of your body. So when you are vibrating at the frequency of fear, of worry, of stress all the time, then your cells become conditioned and think that's who you are. So when you wake up in the morning, you're going to get immediately a thought of fear, of worry, of stress, so that you can emotionally vibrate at the frequency of fear, worry, stress, and the body knows how to be you in that frequency. But it doesn't know how to be you if you're in love, in peace, in trusting, in harmony, in knowing that you're always taken care of, and knowing that the world is becoming a better place. What if we started vibrating at that frequency and our bodies became conditioned to that frequency? If we have within us holographically the mass of the entire universe, then what we vibrate at and what we feel is what is coming into our lives. This is how they are bringing these agendas forward, not only through the general plan, which each one of us needs to be looking at that and going to our county council, but also through our vibrational frequencies. Fear, worry, stress will allow this agenda to come forth. But if we vibrate, and this is my belief, I truly, truly believe that we wouldn't be here. It is our kuleana, our job, to vibrate at a frequency of peace and of harmony and of love, and keep that in our thoughts and allow that frequency to create our personality, because that's what your emotions do. They create your personality, they create your thoughts, their energy. So if we allow the frequency of love, of peace, of harmony, of trusting in a greater, higher power, then what happens is we're inspired in spirit to take actions to create that in our own lives first, and then possibly out into the world. Now, here's what I really think is going to happen. I think those that choose to start to vibrate into practice, living in a life of harmony, are going to be guided to creating that for themselves. And they're going to be guided to different actions. And those that don't are going to be staying in the matrix and staying under the control. Now, what does this mean? This means that maybe you're guided to leave your cell phone at home and go fishing, or take your family on a camping trip and get into nature, go for a hike with a friend, call an old friend that you haven't spoken to in a while. Grow your own food, get some chickens, stuff like that. How can you live outside the matrix and harmony and peace? We as humans don't need a lot, you guys. We do not need a lot to live our lives. The whole house, big house, white picket fence, 2 cars, a boat, all that stuff. That's extra stuff. Stuff doesn't make you happy. In fact, who was it? It was Jim Carrey. He said, I wish everybody could have all the money that they wanted, and they would realize that that doesn't fix everything, doesn't fix them. Matthew, who was it? Chandler. I can't remember his name right now. Matthew, I want to say Broderick, but that's not right. Perry, oh, no, that's not right either. You know who I'm talking about, Chandler. He said, you know, for 6 months after he got the gig on Friends, he had his house and he was, you know, had all this money and he had reached success, but that didn't fix him inside. The only thing that fixes you inside is emotional integration of allowing yourself to feel who you are, to see who you are in the world, to acknowledge all the trauma that you've experienced in your life without making it right, wrong, or good or bad. It's just a part of your human experience. And then finding forgiveness for yourself, forgiveness for others, and finding what brings you peace. So that's my message for today. Each one of us has holographically the mass of the entire universe, which means we can create what we want in our lives. And yes, there is an agenda planned for all of us. And our kuleana is to step forward, to say no in a aloha way, a kind way, not getting mad at each other because that's what they want, not being separate, right? You know, left wing, right wing, they're the two wings of the same bird, everybody. And they all have the same agenda planned. But in our hearts and in our lives and who we are under God. We have unalienable rights. We are our heart. We are love. So let's vibrate at that and see what we can create in our lives together. So I just want to say that where I paddle at, there's a family that comes beautiful with their 2 kids, teenagers. The races, like nobody's on their phone. The kids are respectful and pleasant to be around. It's unbelievable. And that's the way we're supposed to live. We're supposed to live in harmony together with each other. So if you're struggling with that, then ask the universe, ask yourself, how can I easily find harmony and peace in my life? Ask it, because you have to ask you have to ask the right questions. If you ask, why isn't this working? Why is my child angry all the time? You're going to get the answer. But if you ask, how can I easily have a better relationship with my child? How can I easily find more peace in my life? It might be downsizing, more than likely. The answer is going to show up. So let's go ahead and do a prayer. First, I invite you to close your eyes. I know a lot of people watch, but I invite you just to close your eyes just for a moment. Put your hands on your heart and let yourself feel your heart beating. And maybe you can't feel it through your skin. That's okay. It is beating. Just become the observer that your heart has been beating since before you were born. It has been beating since before you were born, pumping blood in and out. And as an adult, you're pumping a gallon of blood through your body per minute, through miles and miles of veins throughout your body. How in the world is it doing it without a to-do list, without being plugged into the wall, without having batteries? There is an infinite consciousness that is beating your heart. You can put your hands in your lap or keep your hands on your heart. And now notice, become the observer of your chest expanding and contracting. There's an infinite intelligence beating your heart. Start to get curious about that. What is that intelligence that's beating your heart and breathing your body? And just notice your body just took another breath. You didn't have to ask it how. You didn't have to tell it. What is that intelligence? Running your nervous system, running your digestive system, running your immune system. It's all throughout you. There is an infinite intelligence that is always with you. You are never, ever, ever alone. What would your life be like? How would it feel, actually? How would it feel in your body to have peace and harmony in your life? Give yourself permission. Maybe you can't figure it out or find that feeling, but give yourself permission to explore the possibility of what it would feel like to have all your needs met, to be in harmony and peace with yourself with others in your family, and having a peaceful, loving home. Give yourself permission to feel that. Give yourself permission to have that be the frequency in your body right now. The feeling of peace, the feeling of freedom, the feeling of harmony, the feeling of abundance, the feeling of knowing you're always taken care of. You are never alone. Giving yourself permission to feel that right now, just for the next 10 seconds. Just breathe into that. Let yourself explore that frequency. Peace, harmony, love, abundance, the knowingness that you're always taken care of, the knowingness that you matter, the knowingness that you can live in peace and harmony right now. Give yourself permission to feel this frequency in your body. And now give this frequency a color. If this feeling had a color, what color would it be? There's no right or wrong answer. Whatever answer comes up is perfect, exactly right. Brighten that color within your body. Peace, harmony, abundance, the knowingness you matter, the knowingness you're always taken care of. If this frequency had a sound, what would it sound like? There's no right or wrong. It's absolutely perfect. If this emotional frequency of love, peace, harmony had a smell, what would it smell like? Give yourself permission to smell that right now. Feeling that frequency even stronger in your body. If this frequency, feeling of harmony, of peace, of love, knowingness that you matter, the knowingness that all is well in your life and in your family. If you could touch it, what would the texture be? Imagine that feeling, that texture wrapping around you like a warm shawl or warm coat. Comfortable, peaceful, feeling so good in your body. Breathing into that. If this feeling of peace and harmony, of love, of the knowingness that you matter, the knowingness that you're always taken care of, the knowingness you're always guided, if you could taste it, if you could eat it, what would it taste like? Give yourself permission to imagine that now. Your imagination is more powerful than anything. Your imagination is part of your human experience. It creates your life. Breathing into that right now. Now bring it all together. The color, the sound, the smell, the touch, and the taste. Give yourself permission to wrap yourself around this feeling of peace, of harmony, of freedom, of the knowingness that you matter, and the knowingness that you're always taken care of. And now send this frequency out into your home, that it touches all people that come into your home or already there. Send this frequency out down your neighborhood, that all of your neighbors can feel this. They don't know what it is. They just have a little bit more hope in their life in this present moment, right here, right now, as you do this practice. Sending this frequency out to your town or your city, that all people matter, that all people are free, that all people are in harmony with each other and the planet, and at peace with each other. Send this frequency out to your province or your state, Wrap it around your nation. Send it out like the wave of an ocean out to other nations. And just see it wrapping around our beautiful planet, our beautiful Aina land. We choose freedom. We choose peace. We choose harmony. We trust in the infinite creator that guided us here, that brought us here, that is always with us, that we are never alone. We trust you. We call it forth now. Thank you so much, infinite creator. Thank you so much, consciousness of infinite love. We know that that is always with us, and we are never, ever alone. And so it is. Coming back to this present moment, feeling yourself in this space. Wiggle your toes and your fingers. When you're ready, slowly open your eyes. Go out, be in harmony and peace, become the observer of your life, follow your guided intuition that's coming from your heart, and do what you're meant to do, you guys. This is a game we came to play. Are you going to play your part? You're going to live in fear. You're going to live in love. I love you so much. Much aloha from the Big Island. If you guys want to learn more about this work that I do, you can go to blossominnerwellness.com, blossominnerwellness.com. I'm going to be doing retreats and bringing people to Hawaii and taking them on special experiences to bring in more harmony and love. And if you think you can't afford it, I'm going to show you how you can. So blossominnerwellness.com. Much aloha.